Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Kato and I'm so happy to be back with my final video for these Spellbinders clubs of the month February, and I am showcasing the 3D embossing folder of the month this time. I absolutely adore embossing folders. I don't think that's a secret anymore or a surprise, and I love them so much for any card, but especially for clean and simple designs, which also happen to be some of my favorite cards to make. So it's a match made in heaven. I always spritz my cardstock with some water before I put it through an embossing folder, and I also cut my cardstock larger than it needs to be. I go for half an inch larger on both sides, so it's 6 inches by 4 3/4 inches, because 3D embossing warps the cardstock and it also shrinks the cardstock a little bit. So you want to cut it a bit larger before you put it through your embossing folder, and then trim off any excess once it's embossed. I am also using the bunny and the carrot from the large die of the month from February, and I love this cute little bunny bum. I am making a very, very white card, so I am happy that I did some ink blending on that bunny, just a little bit of gray to add some shading. And then the only color in this card is actually going to be the colors in the carrot. So there's the orange carrot with the green top, and I am going to add a tiny strip of green cardstock as well to just break apart the white a little bit. So I am adding some dimension to extra panels of white cardstock behind that embossed panel, which isn't going to span my entire card. It's just going to be on the bottom. And on the top of that, on the back, I am adhering just a sliver of green cardstock. And it's the same green that I used for the carrot as well. I'm going to adhere all of that to my card just at the bottom there. And I'm using liquid glue for all of this because I think it's cheaper to use liquid glue than double-sided adhesive. I also think it's easier and you can shift things around. But you can also do this with double-sided adhesive as well, if that's what your preference is. I'm going to trim off the excess of that green cardstock just with some long scissors. I tried it with short scissors, but it's harder to cut next to a card panel. So I use my long Tim Holtz scissors. Spellbinders also has super long scissors now. I don't know if I'm going to try them because I have scissors. So I rather spend that money on some extra die sets probably. I'm going to... What am I going to do? I forgot what I did here, but I think I'm going to prop that bunny up on some foam tape, and with the carrot I might snip it off a little bit so I can tuck it underneath that that embossed panel, because I didn't leave a lot of space to tuck anything underneath there with that cardstock that I added for dimension, so I can't really tuck it under there, but if I snip it off it will look like it's tucked under. I don't know if I'm going to do that though. I forgot what I did with this card. Okay, I am going to do that. So I'm just checking where to snip it, and once that's done, I'm going to adhere that with some liquid adhesive as well. I added some foam tape for the bunny because he's supposed to jump over that embossed panel, so he should be the same height or the same thickness as that. And the bunny is just behind that embossed panel, so I can just glue it down. This is it. You could add a sentiment to this, but I loved the super simple card design here, so I didn't add a sentiment. But there are a bunch of Easter sentiments in the stamp set that I'll be using for this card as well. So this next card is even easier to make. I am going to emboss a shaped panel. So I'm using the notched corner frames here from Spellbinders. I am taking the third size down and I cut that out of Nina Solar White, and I am doing the same thing again. So I'm spritzing it down, I am dabbing the excess water away with a paper towel. I'm doing this on both sides of the panel because that's just what I do. I don't actually know if it's necessary, but better safe than sorry. If you're spritzing one side, why not do the other? Now this panel is going to warp. The edges aren't going to be completely straight anymore, but after embossing. But you can't cut your shape after it's embossed because then the embossing will flatten out again. So I knew it wasn't going to be completely straight. I don't think the recipient of this card is going to notice it unless they're a card maker, maybe, but they're definitely not going to care even if they notice. So I don't mind. Now I'm going to take my Pinkfresh Studio inks, and there's one. The purple is Concord 9th ink. I just picked my favorite rainbow colors here, and I'm going around the edges of this panel. Ink blending always makes the design on a 3D embossing folder stand out a little bit more because everything that is raised is going to pick up more ink and is going to look darker. So it's just going to make that design stand out a little bit more and also add a ton of color, which is always a fun thing. I'm going to bring that ink blending in a little bit more than I initially did, but I'm making it very light in the center. The very center of this card panel is going to still be white, but yeah, I'm bringing it in a little bit more than I initially did. I'm also overlapping the colors, so this will give a really nice smooth blend. And then I realized that I left very little space for the purple, but it's okay. Yeah, this is really, really easy to do. If you have some favorite color combos, you can use those. You don't have to do rainbow. A pastel rainbow would be really fun here as well for an Easter card. But I like my colors bright. Yeah, I really love this rainbow. So really, really easy to do. And then I think it's time for a sentiment. I'm using the Gnome Drive sentiments. Spellbinders, usually when they have like a critter collection, they usually come out with a stem set that works with that collection. So for this one, it was a gnome in a car, and you could add tons of different things in the car for different holidays. So this stamp set has a ton of different holiday sentiments. So there's Christmas in there, there's Valentine's, there's St. Patrick's Day, and there is Easter. I think there's more in there as well. But yeah, they're not all supposed to be or supposed to just be used with that gnome in the car. So they're not all punny sentiments, but this one was just for Easter and perfect for this card. I stamped it on black cardstock with Versamark ink, and now I am using these stylish ovals to cut it out. So you don't have to just trim a sentiment strip every time. You can use your basic nesting dies to cut out a more interesting label for your sentiments. And I think the stylish ovals are perfect for short 2-line sentiments. I cut 2 more of those notched corner frames, but I cut them a size smaller, and then I put them underneath that rainbow frame to add some dimension. I adhered that down on my card base with some liquid adhesive, and then I am also adding a second stylish oval behind that black one for a little bit of extra sturdiness, and I'm going to prop that up on foam tape as well. Again, this is a really, really simple card, but I think that's why I love embossing folders so much. You don't have to add much to this. You have a ton of texture. You have a fun design. Just add some color or not and a sentiment and you're done. It's so easy and it's lovely every time. But they're also great background products. So I think these are very versatile, or at least a lot more versatile than most people give them credit for. And I think that's why they're my favorite background product. I'm going to finish this off with some holographic embellishments. I usually go for something holographic when I am or when I have a rainbow in my card. And once that's done, this card is all finished. I hope you like it. I hope you also like the bunny card. Let me know which one is your favorite in the comments below, because I'd love to know what you think. And I hope you liked these very clean and simple cards. I know these videos are a little bit too simple sometimes, so I hope you still liked it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!